Welcome to the Nation Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Thoreau.
Tom Jones.
And on this week, we're basically following up our last episode when we ended a discussion with the former quarterback to the Chicago Rush and SaberCats, Russ Mickna, and what he sort of had to say about this guy that came out of nowhere called Reggie Gray, who's trying to claim the big play status, which we'll get to that we know it's true, and our conversation will lead to the proof of that nickname status. But now we have Reggie Gray himself on, sort of to back himself, about saying how Russ felt like a fatherly figure to Mr. Gray here. So, what's going on, Reggie?
Reggie, big play in the house.
How's it going?
We're doing pretty good, man. We miss you out here. I know I texted you during the week. I know you were just out here just like a week and a half ago and all that stuff. So how are things going? How's your body recovering from the off season now?
My body is pretty rough. It went through a lot during the season, and I really was hurt since last May. And really just fighting to play in every game, and now, I was suffering the consequences of this offseason, so now I'm just trying to, get back right.
Yeah, so basically, just to let you a little bit of background, I don't know if you did a little pre-research on Ninth Man Nation. You and I met through the SaberCats. When you came out here, I actually sort of met you when you were with the Rush for at least 1 year when you were there, and basically, you knew that I ran the fan club for the SaberCats, San Jose's Ninth Man. So you could say that the San Jose's Ninth Man was like a local version of what we're doing for Ninth Man Nation. Ninth Man Nation is it started out as like a forum where the fans can come together and have their voice and sharing experiences, which is still to that part. But yet we're trying a little bit expand and to have more of a relationship staff. That's why we're having players. And last episode, we had the commissioner on to build, a relationship, and to have a conversation and to drive conversation about the league. Because you probably know this through your experiences that basically once the ArenaBowl ends and the players all are told, to report back home or whatever after the season's end and clean out your lockers, that the AFL doesn't exist. It's like the door's closed. And it doesn't exist during the off season, during like the NFL season, and then now it's starting to reopen the doors like this time, like a month prior to the season start when training camp opens up next week. So we're trying to bring it back to where the arena football could be a year-round conversation. It doesn't matter how deep it is or how big, but we want to be on sort of like the same conversation level as the NFL is. Just for people to recognize that it is a fun thing, and that's bringing the players in, and like yourself and the other players I brought in, like James Hundon, Steve Watson, and then Russ Mickna, helps expand because what we want you to do is basically overall share your experience coming from basically your college level, your experience trying to get into the arena game, and then your selection into the Chicago Rush and the transition that you had to go to the SaberCats. So that's basically what you want for you to share with us, basically your overall experience. So why don't you just go ahead and share what you've dealt with starting from the beginning of your career in the AFL to present day.
It all started once I finished college. I wasn't blessed to have the opportunity to, go to a NFL camp or anything like that. So I started playing, at the smaller leagues, just to keep, to get film, to continue to try to move up. My first year in 2006, I started out pretty good with a team in Bloomington, and I want to say the second game I tore my MCL, and that kind of set me back for a while, in which, it was tough times because then I was still trying to make an impact on trying to get to the NFL, and that was a huge setback right after because, I had a small frame, and now, had a knee injury that kind of crippled my career at that time. But, I just kept fighting, and then, I went to so many open workouts with the Rush. Went down to Colorado, open workout, Kansas City, Grand Rapids. Really just trying to get my foot in the door, paying the money, just to get a good look.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was still playing in the lower leagues, just trying to continue to keep going because I knew I could, I knew I can play. And finally, I got that break with Chicago back in 2008, in which, Coach Hornsey, he seen something in me and they wanted to keep me around. I unfortunately didn't get to see the field that year. I was practice squad the entire year, but I was basically backing up, greats like Damian Harrell, Donovan Morgan, those guys were over there. So, I was able to learn a lot from that year. And then from there, the league went under, in which I was a little disappointed because I thought that maybe in 2009 was going to be my time to finally shine.
Yeah.
And it just, the league went under, things that, I just really couldn't control, and so I went back and played in the smaller leagues just to keep going. When you love the game of football, it's hard to kind of sit out and not do anything, so kept playing and won a championship in a lower league with the Chicago Slaughter. And then 2010 came back when the league was brought back, a little different than the league before. And I got signed by the Tampa Bay Storm.
Yeah.
And, I was hoping to come back to Chicago, but, it just didn't happen that way. So I went down to Tampa Bay in their camp. That was the year that they actually went and played for the ArenaBowl. They ended up losing to Spokane, but, and I did pretty well in the camp, and all throughout the papers, they were saying I was the starter with Hank Edwards and Ty Timmons, and, that's when Coach Markham was the head coach, and Coach Ewart was the assistant head coach, and, I was getting a lot of publicity because I was performing very well, and then that's when the numbers game, kind of crept up on me, where Cedric Robinson came the final week of training camp, and he's the all-time leading kick returner, and so at that point, they was having 3 awesome receivers returning, but I kept performing, playing well in practice, and then we got to the preseason game, and I led the team to yard catches and touchdowns, and I thought it was a lock, and then at halftime of that game, the infamous Lawrence Samuels was getting a physical at halftime of the preseason game, and the next day when cuts were made, I experienced the first cut I ever had in my life, and it was something hard to take, and and then I vowed to overcome that, and then a year later, that's when I had my breakthrough with the Chicago team, Chicago Rush, thanks to Bob McMillan and staff.
Yeah. So enough said for all the players who are trying to get out there. Perseverance will succeed. If you just keep going at it, you will get to the dream, and then eventually you did get to the dream. Coming over, not to skip any time, but you did come over to the SaberCats, and of course you just won the ArenaBowl now, and finally, and deserving, because you're a great guy and you truly deserve it. Not saying that other players in the league don't deserve it as much as anybody, but it just shows that perseverance will pay out. With that said, so if you take it back to the time that you were at the Chicago Rush the very first time in 2008 on the practice squad, did you have any dealings with the Chicago's ninth man and everything, and the atmosphere that they had there at the Allstate Arena?
Back then in 2008, the atmosphere was crazy. I really didn't have a lot of ties then because I really didn't understand, the significance of it all. Then I was just kind of like a kid in the candy store, just happy to be a part of the organization, and being from my hometown where, I was a practice player, but then outside of that, game day and stuff like that, I was really just a fan. And enjoying everything that was going on. So I really didn't, at that point in time in 2008, really had the opportunity to really acknowledge, the ninth man that they had there. But the fan support was really great. I mean, they were pulling in 15, 16,000 or something like that. I should know because I was sitting in the stands for all the games. Couldn't play.
It's kind of an interesting perspective because here you are, you're a fan, but you're not like maybe a fan that's all they're ever going to be as a fan. It's like, I'm sure just your competitive nature, you're just really wanting to get in there and stuff. So it's kind of a unique perspective, but it's almost like a temporary, I'll be a fan for a day type experience because, you can jump right on that field and you can make a difference.
Yeah, at that time, I mean, I was young, but I still felt that I should have been playing that year. I didn't really know the game that well, but I just thought just off my talents I should be playing. But the one thing it did do, I don't think I would be where I am now if I didn't spend that year on the practice squad learning, behind Coach Horn, C.D. and Damon Harrell and Donovan Morgan. I mean, I learned a lot. And then other receivers, Travis Latondras, Alfonso was there, and I was able to learn the game, and it kind of humbled me a little bit as well, and knew that it wasn't all about speed and quickness, that you actually have to learn the game, and I'm grateful for that year.
It's kind of interesting a perspective because being a SaberCats fan, I've been going since day one, 95, being a season ticket holder and stuff, and then Eric shortly after that. So, we had the Arizona Rattlers, right? I mean, it's like that was that big rival. I'm sure the league knew San Jose, Arizona, and this and that and everything. But Chicago, man, you love to hate them and you hate to love them. I mean, you guys just had some talent in that team and stuff.
You guys were like a thorn in our side.
Yeah, it's like okay, you know what? It's like, yeah, we have Arizona and stuff, but we got Chicago. And, it even brings back to, like, the NFL, with the NFC, with the Chicago Bears and, the Niners. The Bay Area is used to that kind of rival and stuff, and it kind of brought us back to that. But I noticed that there's a big difference between pre-league folding and post. So, like, 2008 before, we had the sponsors in the league. It's like there was a lot of talent, a lot of high talent that, a play away, an injury away from being in the NFL. So it's like to come back from that, but coming back to your previous days when you're in the outside game, what kind of adjustments do you see going from the outside game to the indoor game? Is it a big adjustment?
I would say it is from a receiver perspective because, some routes that you run outside, you just technically don't have that room to run them indoors. You see a lot of guys coming from the NFL or the outside game. That's one of the major things that they struggle with as a receiver is transitioning from the outdoor game, route running, to the indoor game. When you come down to, well, not saying come down, but when you basically come to the Arena Football League on this level, it's more about angles and knowing the game than really a lot of it. You could be a slow receiver, or faster. It doesn't matter just as long as you know the routes. I mean, just as long as you know the angles and things like that, you can have a lot of success in this league. And I mean, I think it's a major adjustment. I think it's easier coming from the arena game going back outside. I think it's much easier because it's more space. But when you come in this arena thing and when you look at the type of field that we play on and there's no running out of bounds, it's a big adjustment that most guys have to make, in which, some guys that play at that level, they don't transition well here. And it's not because they don't have the talent. It's an art. And arena football is a different beast. It's an art.
Yeah, those guys coming from the NFL learn really quick that they do have one defender that they could never win against, and that's the wall. So what's your experience about the wall? Share some experiences that you've had with the wall, and obviously the fans did return you if you went over.
Well, the wall, like we always say, the wall is undefeated. It's undefeated, and no matter what, you will not defeat the wall. Now, they may have some breakaway doors on the wall, but that's not the wall. But actually, my first experience with the indoor game and being introduced to that wall was when I tore my MCL back in 06. I was going up for a ball in the end zone, and my leg hit the wall, and obviously it didn't go through, and it bent, and I thought I was going to snap everything in my knee, the way it felt, but thankfully, but unthankfully, is that I only tore my MCL. It could have been much worse, but, and there's been times where, you're going full speed into that wall, and it'll bring you back to reality real fast.
Yeah.
Yes. You may see one of them things on our helmet lighten up just by running into the wall. So but it's all good fun.
Yeah. So we want to continue. We've already gotten a little bit of your taste and experience with the Chicago Rush prior to the split for the 2009 season. Now it was 2010 season that the AF1, which is now branded or the owner of the Arena Football League, came back in 2010. How was your return to going to, but actually, and also transition and making the move to Tampa, Florida? And everybody knows that the fans down there, Tampa's ninth man, are diehard people. They led the league last year in 2015 with the most attendance. They broke over 100,000 strong last game. They averaged roughly around 15,000 a game at the Amalis Arena. So how was your experience down there with Tampa Bay's ninth man down there?
Oh, well, I was only down there basically 2 weeks, and I played in the preseason game. But, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of jitters during that game, and, you could see the loyal fans that were there. That was the first year returning back, and, they had, some of the guys' jerseys, Brett Dietz, Hank Edwards.
Yeah.
They had some of them got Tim McGill, some of them guys' jersey, and the atmosphere, it was crazy. I had the jitters because obviously I was trying to make a team, but the support was, it was there, and I was hoping to make the team at that time because for one, that was the first time me ever really playing outside of Chicago. So I was going to love the experience. And then, just the fans being the way that they were, I could just tell that they would welcome me like I was there for many years.
Did you feel the same sense of what the SaberCats over the years had accomplished? From our perspective, we've always been, a SaberCats fan. So, in a sense, maybe we were spoiled. But, from a perspective from playing on other teams, how were the SaberCats as far as, was that kind of like the team to kind of replicate or the example coming from Chicago? Or when you were with Chicago, did you guys feel like, okay, you know what, we're on the same level? Because we're West Coast. It's always East Coast, West Coast, always kind of a different kind of vibe, a different kind of atmosphere and stuff. What is your perspective from that, coming over eventually to the SaberCats?
Well, before I came over, I didn't like the SaberCats. I didn't like Arizona. I didn't like any team that was supposed to be the best. I always wanted to beat them. I always wanted to show them. But I can say that, the SaberCats were much respected, and everybody wanted to come to the SaberCats. I can say that much. And when I got to the SaberCats, I felt that there was a lot of pressure because of the history that the SaberCats had, the history of winning. And I felt like I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of that rivalry between Arizona. I wanted to be one of the guys that, when people talked about the SaberCats, they mentioned my name as well. I didn't know how long I would be with the SaberCats, but, I knew I could never reach the status of a James Rowe, Mark Grieve, Cleavon, those guys. But I at least wanted to, leave my print on the organization. And as soon as I signed to come over, I was excited but nervous at the same time because, I know they don't settle for anything but greatness.
Yeah, and when you came over, you took a big hit too with taking that number 1 jersey from possibly being hung on the rafters, being Steve Pappen, the guy that was doing the media stuff for the SaberCats, So you had some big shoes to fill there with Pappen,
Hey, if we were still giving away bobbleheads, I'm sure we would see Reggie bobbleheads.
Yeah, Reggie would have had a bobblehead.
Yeah, he would have had a bobblehead.
Big play bobblehead.
Oh, that would have been awesome. Yeah, Pap, we used to always wrap it up and talk. And I know Coach Arbet, he used to always mention, Pap in that number 1 jersey and, joke around about it. But, I was trying to make a name for myself, and try to overshadow Pap a little bit. He was a great player. Don't think I accomplished it, but, I was just trying to make a name for myself with that jersey.
Yeah, so now I know we sort of skipped ahead and talked a little bit about the SaberCats just now, but let's keep on going back. And, now you had your experience with Tampa. Unfortunately, they couldn't see what you've become, or see the potential of what you come. They were, dumb in cutting you. I'm going to say that because I see what kind of a guy you are, and I've become friends, So how was your trip going back to Chicago, going home, and then getting re-picked up by the Chicago Rush with, who was Bob McMillan, a former SaberCat?
Yeah, Bob was there in 2008 when I was there, and so in 2011 he took over the head coaching job, and I kind of kept in touch with the player personnel over there, because my dream was to step by step. Obviously, it was the NFL, but the next, if I did make it to the NFL, the AFL, and I kept in touch with them, and I had did so many personal workouts years before. I kind of was tired of doing them, and I just felt that the Chicago organization, that they knew me from 2008, so they knew what I was capable of the entire year. And so, I had refused to go to the personal workouts that they may have had of guys coming until I was faced with a decision. The lower league, the IFL, was about to begin play, and I had to make a decision if I wanted to go play there or basically do a 2-day workout with the Chicago Rush team during camp to try to prove myself. And so I went back and forth with that decision in my head on what I wanted to do, and basically, when I came up with was the fact that this was my dream to make it to the AFL, and I gotta keep pushing, so I basically turned down a contract with the IFL to basically go on a 2-day workout with the Rush just to even make it to a 3rd day of training camp, and so I went and did that 2-day, and the crazy thing about it, I had just did legs the day before they called me to come do the 2-day waiver, and my legs were heavy, and I did strong legs too, and my legs were heavy, and then when they called me, I went in and I proved to them that, I could play at that level, so they signed me for the rest of the training camp, and then, I'll never forget, when it was cut day, and I thought I proved myself. I thought I did everything I needed to do to make the team. We had a couple of veterans that was already on the team, but, I felt like I did what I needed to do to make the team, but like I learned from Tampa, never think it's done already. So, but the word that still ring in my head is when I went in there with Coach McMillan, on cut day, and I was nervous. I was nervous because, the last time I was in on cut day, and I thought I had it made it. It didn't pan out, and he said, I can't remember the exact words, but he basically was saying, I most definitely made the team, and that not only did I make the team, they're looking for me to be the star.
Yeah.
They're looking to depend on me, to basically lead the team, and it was music to my ears, and at that point, I just felt like I needed to prove him right, so when the season took over, came about, and I just had this chip on my shoulder to prove to Tampa, as well as any other team, as well as my own coaches, that they made the right decision and Tampa made the wrong decision, and I just performed like my life depended on it, and I'm just grateful for that opportunity that Coach McMillan and the Rush organization gave me.
So you going back to the Rush now, how was your reunion with a former WIU guy, Mr. Mikna, and how he said that when he first came across you at the university there, he's all saying that you look like you were 12 years old, and that he was following you in to become a player that you were when you were at Western Illinois. So how was your reunion with him?
Oh, the reunion was great. Even to this day, I call Russ every time I refer, I'll be like, my quarterback, because he's been basically everywhere I've been, from college to the Rush to the SaberCats. And, that reunion with him just going to Chicago, it was a comfort level because I played with him in college, and he knew what I could do. And, I was with him in 2008 as well. He was the quarterback that, ended up being a starter, and, I was, just a practice squad player, but we, got a lot of reps with each other. So it was a comfort level there, and I think that helped me in my transition to actually, getting on the field and actually playing because of that continuity with Russ as the quarterback, my quarterback.
Yeah, last week, or actually not last week, it was 2 weeks ago, but our last episode with Mikda, he also brought the fact that, like you said, you had a little bit of, the gun learning curve to deal with the Rush coming back, and that you really started picking things up with when you worked with J.J. McClevely. So how was working with J.J., and how's his insight to working on playing for the Rush then, and then what he brought to the table for you?
He brought a lot. He was a veteran. He was a veteran back there in 2011, and he was obviously the man. And I was still a student of the game. And, as a rookie, technically a rookie playing wise, all I could do was sit back and learn, and wait my turn. And JJ was a true professional. He was one of those guys, just like Damian Harrell and Donovan Morgan was when I was with, back in 2008. He sat there and he explained things, and he, it wasn't one of those things where he told me what to do. He showed me why I'm doing it, in which, it was a great experience. And then D. Lee came along, Derek Lee came along that year. And for somebody like myself, first year doing it, them guys really took a lot of pressure off me, in which really teams didn't focus on me. They focused on those guys, and next thing you know, I was having big games and going. But those guys were a big help in my development, and those two guys specifically, helped me out a ton.
Is there a lot of studying outside of the practice? Studying like formation, studying all of these, possibilities, because you hear in other leagues where you have somebody that maybe isn't as successful because they don't study as much. Is there just as much, if not more, studying to make you successful, to prepare you for that? You see a lot of people in your position and in other positions within the team where they do better if they study more. How does studying play into the whole aspect of being successful?
I think so. Back in 2008, that's one of the major things that I learned from Coach Hornsey was the film study. Before then, I couldn't stand watching film. I was really just, sitting back, thought it was a waste of time. But he broke down so much stuff in film session where it became an addiction, to watch film consistently all the time. And when I watch a game film, I may watch it about 5 or 6 times in a row. The first 2 times is kind of, watching it, kind of being a fan. And then after that, I start breaking down different things such as the type of schemes that they run, the down and distance. Then I go into the type of player that I'm going to be facing. I believe at this point, a lot of success that I have has been from what I do off the field. You'll find me, at the airport, on bus rides, pulling on my iPad and just watching film. I'm still a fan of the game, of course, but, just studying my opponent and still trying to learn the game, even at this age of 31. You know, it's just an addiction that I just can't lose. You know, that just can't leave me right now. You know, I just enjoy watching film, and I think for any player to be successful in this league, they have to become a student of the game. They have to do things off the field to better themselves because, you know, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the fastest. So to me, what edge can I get? You know, if I know a defensive back is going to squat at the sticks on third down, you know, then I got to make him think I'm going past him so I'm going to open up the hips. You know, those type of things are just things that you pick up in film study and, you know, outside of the coach's film study. What you just sit at home and watch. I mean, you sit at home and watch TV all the time anyway. You know, why not pull up the film and watch Tiger Jones going against Rayshawn Kaiser, you know, and see, you know, how did Tiger be successful versus him.
So you've had those ahu, you know, like those moments to where you've studied, and all of a sudden the light comes on, and you see a defender doing this, being in a particular place where the film showed you where he's going to be, and that aha moment hits you. You know it's going to be a big play, right?
Oh yeah, I know. When there's a certain down and distance, I kind of can. You know, I've been doing good film study, you know, and the coach called a perfect play, and I know how to set him up because I know how the DB is gonna, you know, basically, you know, how his defensive stance and things are going to be. You know, I feel good about it because I said, I've seen this before. You know, one of those things. And then when I do have success on a DB, you know, sometimes they ask you like, man, this and that. I say, hey, I watched film. I knew you were going to do that. You know, and great DBs do the same. Great DBs do the same. You know, sometimes they actually, you know, take something away that I give, and they'll come back and say, yeah, you did that too many times on film. You know, that all I can do is chuckle and laugh, and that's what makes great players in this league. You know, guys that go and do things outside the field.
Yeah, so you sort of mentioned that you're 31 years old, you're over there, and the question is, are you going? Can we say that for the 2016 season, are you going to be a student of the game still, or are you going to be maybe a teacher of the game? Which is it? Meaning, are you going to come back and play? Can we see you in the 50-yard war in 2016?
Man, that's a tough question at this moment. But you know, I can say after winning the championship, you know, I look back at it and I always thought like, you know, I don't have anything else to prove. You know, I didn't receiver of the year, ArenaBowl MVP, playmaker of the year, 4 times All-Arena. You know, yeah, I can ride off into the sunset. You know, especially after the championship. You know, a few guys did, Jerome Bettis, you know, etc. But you know, my body is a little banged up right now. I'm still trying to heal, but you know, I guess y'all get first insight. You know, as long as I can get healthy, you know, you will see me in 2016.
Yeah, you know, I think you have at least another good 3 years because, I mean, you could be banged up. I've seen you to where you're going to line of scrimmage on crutches, and all of a sudden you hear hike. All of a sudden those crutches come off, and you forget this is hurt or that's hurt or this broken and everything, and you make plays.
Yeah, and look at the fact that you played just recently with Mr. 35-year-old Ben Nelson, and then Grandpa Rowe played last year. You know, sorry, James, but yeah, Grandpa Rowe. You know, so you're 31 ain't, you know, over the hill for the game, and I could see right now just with your conversation. You know, we're seeing you on the video portion of the Skype here. You know that you still have the sparkle in your eye that you still want the drive. Now, could it be that there could be another reunion for you? You already had the reunion with Russ Mickna. Now, what about the reunion with Donovan Morgan in the LA Kiss? So you got the reunion, actually also with Nathan Stanley too. So you got you, Nate, Donovan Morgan, DJ Stevens who's there from the SaberCats, Omar Smith. You got Rodney Fritz, Colin Madison. Come on, you know.
And you're only 6 hours drive, so we can easily go see you over in LA.
We're already going to be there from the home opener.
Well, I mean, that'd be a great place to play at, but I mean, unfortunately, by being on like IR, I can't. Well, teams can't talk to me. Like I can't even. You know, I mean, I guess it's a legal thing that the league won't allow. I mean, everyone. It's just not me. It's just protocol where, I mean, I'm technically still property of the SaberCats, I guess. Since that was the last team I played for, and I'm on injured reserve. And I mean, I haven't been able to talk to any teams. I mean, at this point, all 8 teams seem interesting in my eyes. I mean, I like Cleveland because they're close. They're close to home. And, I like LA, of course, because of the reasons that, you guys just gave who was over there. I like Jacksonville, the talent they have. I like Orlando, the talent that they have.
Portland?
Philly. Portland. I've dealt with a league-owned team, my days in Chicago. And not saying it is out the question, but, it's something I'm not sure if I want to deal with. But, if Portland comes calling when I get cleared, you never know. I mean, at this point, I'm just trying to get healthy. Just really trying to get healthy. I myself thinking about flying up there for that first game against Jacksonville in L.A. as well.
Nice.
So you might see me in the stands. I'm thinking about flying out there and checking that game out, amongst two teams that possibly could be 2 of the top 3 teams in the league, and when you win a championship, you definitely want to go somewhere where they have a quality team as well. But
well, let us know because we'll be there. So maybe we'll get together before the game, after the game.
We got the.
We'll get you a beer. Maybe find some lobster or something. Make it worth.
Oh yeah, that's if I'm not clear to return. If I'm clear to return. Who knows? I might be somewhere else playing. I may not be able to make that trip, but it's really all about health right now. I mean, to be honest, I'm feeling good. Starting to rehab and everything, and I mean, I believe I can play like TT's playing. TT 38. I think he may be 39 years old now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still going at it, and I think I may have it in me, but it's all about what my body says, and I play this game because I love the game, and that's the reason why I'm gonna come back and continue to play is because until I lose that love, I want to continue playing this game that I love.
Yeah. We hope to see you on the field, and hopefully maybe that home field will be gray with a guitar pick in the middle of it. But, we hope to have you nearby, because you're a great guy, and also maybe you get to make the move out to San Jose here, for the future team that they may have here. You could be involved somehow, with maybe starting as a player or maybe as a coach, with the new San Jose team that's going to be coming out here pretty soon within the next couple of years if Butera keeps up his promise, finding it. And as far as for the Portland Steel, first of all, what do you think of the name, Portland Steel?
I have no comment on, the Portland Steel name. I mean, it's a good name. I mean, they decided upon it. I know a lot of players across the league. They've mentioned it. That they like the Thunder. But I mean, it's a name, and if you wear that jersey, it's about that name on the jersey or the team, and not the one on the back. So, whether it's me or whether it's anybody that go to that organization, I mean, you got to represent it. I mean, Portland Steel. I mean, you can rhyme steel with a lot of things, and make the best of it. But tagging on to that San Jose thing, I would love to see San Jose return. I love San Jose. I love the organization. Even the past years, I love the owners. The Friars were nothing but great to me. My family when they came up. The coaching staff, Coach Arbeck, Coach Malley, Coach O, Coach Walker. I don't want to seem like I'm missing names, so I'm just going to stop naming. But they were great. The list goes on. They were great. Coach Jonigan, I can't, not mention Coach Jonigan, but they were great as an organization. And San Jose, it was the first time I ever got to play away from home, and I love the experience. And I do hope that San Jose do get a team back, and I would love to come back out there if I'm not, married with more kids and got to stay at home and get another job or something like that. I would love it.
That's a whole set of other.
Issues
you got to deal with.
Yeah.
I want to say that. I want to also say that I appreciate you coming down. It was about a month after the ArenaBowl And I don't know of another league, I don't know of another organization that I could be, after watching the Arena Bowl, the championship in Stockton a month earlier, to be sitting with players, coaches, fans, and literally watching a repeat of the game. I mean, that's almost unheard of. So that's like the time of your life and everything. And it's great that you're able to be there, to see that, to appreciate it with us, and us to literally just bond and just look up at the screen and laugh at some of the same things that, when Reggie did this, another player did that and everything and stuff. And that was a good time. So appreciate
we appreciate everything you've done here for San Jose. Now, what do you think about the San Jose's ninth man? We've asked you about Tampa's ninth man. We asked you about Chicago. What do you think about San Jose's ninth man? Skip the idea that you have two of the main guys of San Jose's ninth man right here you're talking to. Don't worry about it. But what do you think about the fans here in San Jose?
I love the fans in San Jose. They're second to none. I mean, I love my Chicago Rush fans, so I don't want to, my hometown fans, but that might be a little biased, But San Jose fans, like I said, they, even like the organization, the fans, they treated me like I was a star. They were excited to see me. They were excited whenever I came somewhere, and they had posters and signs, and I mean, it was just amazing playing for San Jose, and that's why I'm so crushed that they're not returning this year, because the fans deserve their team there, and I mean. They stood by us, my first year. Of course, we didn't win it. We lose in Arizona and things like that. But the fans stuck by us. The fans traveled to Stockton. I mean, loyal fans, and they're second to none. I mean, even though you two are right there, I'm gonna act like I don't see you guys, and I'm just saying,
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure. They have a great fan base, and though the San Jose fans, they deserve a team. They deserve a team, and I'm hoping that they have a team in the near future, and I could definitely be a part of it, because, everybody that played for San Jose, they understand that the fans were a major contribution to what we had going on. And I'm just so appreciative of them.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate that.
And we appreciate you, and I also appreciate that you and I have become friends and all that stuff when looked up, and I still remember from our post-game meetings here at Blue Water. We're at Blue Water Seafood and Crab. This is our sponsor for our podcast, and that's probably why you hear some of the noise, the background noise of the crowd and all that stuff. They just got done with a major lunch rush here. So, but I still know that I owe you a fresh, delicious, mouth-watering lobster roll. See, as he licks his chops right there. Got him right there.
Yeah, that's my favorite, so I can attest to that.
I'll take it. I believe I may be making a trip up there next Wednesday to kind of handle some things and be there for a few days, and possibly maybe I can get that from you, Eric. I ain't gonna turn down free food.
I already know this. As soon as he touchdowns at SJC, which by the way, my route when I drive for my job for the bus VTA here, I go through airport, so I might run into you at the airport. Who knows?
Drop you right off at the seafood place here.
Yeah, and after work we can meet up here at Blue Water, and my phone's gonna be blowing up big time. Say, hey, I'm here in San Jose. Where's that lobster roll?
Yeah, you may get a text from me once I get in town, because that do sound delicious right about now, with seafood.
Yeah, so it's cool. We appreciate you taking your Saturday afternoon off. I know it probably helped you from going outside in the freezing cold there in Chi-Town.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope everything's good. We know, and not to bring sort things up, but we hope everything's cool in your families because of past incidents that you shared on Facebook, on your Facebook profile. So I hope everything's cool and everything's safe there. And like I said on that posting, you always got us here. We're your family here out here too. We got you back. You come out here in San Jose, and if you have to make the move out here, we got you, Reggie.
Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Everything is good back at home. Well, good is gonna be right now, and feel good to be home with family. But I'm missing San Jose as well. That's why I have to keep coming back there as often. Just to just to breathe the air and enjoy the nice weather, instead of this keen weather here in Chicago with nothing but snow.
Yeah, right now we're in the mid to upper 60s, and it's cloudy. And looking outside right now, it's drizzling right now.
Yeah, there's something coming down from the sky. We're not really sure what it is.
What's this stuff?
I think it's water,
melt.
but
we might melt. Because we're not used to this water
60 degrees and a little rain. I think I'll take that over 15 degrees and snowing. I can at least do something when it stopped raining out there. Go out and run some routes or something. All I can do here is shovel some snow.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, Reggie, we thank you for taking time out on your Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, because I know it's 2 hours ahead of us right now, so it's almost 5 o'clock your time there. So just in time for happy hour for you. So we appreciate it, man. We look forward to maybe seeing you out here, and maybe even see you down in Anaheim on April 2nd, for the kickoff game there.
That'll be a good game up there.
Yeah, that'll be a very good game. That's why I may make that trip down. But I appreciate you guys for having me. I just want to leave by saying can't wait to get these rings. And in case of the fumble gate, the fumble with Arizona, it was a touchdown. It was not a fumble. Touchdown.
That's what they brought
good,
up.
man.
Speaking of,
I appreciate that.
Actually, before you let you go, I don't know if you noticed that this past week the AFL just changed the rules about replay. They said now that there's not going to be no more booth replay within the 1 minute warning part. Now it's going to be, if you have a challenge flag, you could do it. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, anything that the league feels that can improve the game, I think is a great step in the game getting more respect. I mean, even if they would have had that rule back then, I mean, it was a touchdown. So
yeah, they did review it. The booth did review it.
Yeah, they reviewed it, and I mean the angle. I mean, the angle, you could not reverse that call because it was a touchdown.
And the thing is, those who have reason to doubt that, well, we're not going to mention anybody or any team or any group, but those who have reason to, deny that, they're going to say all their talk and everything, but, when it comes down to it, that was a championship. That was in San Jose, and we were there, and we experienced that with you, and that was an awesome moment.
I think that game right there was the ultimate, true, Arena Bowl with Arizona there, the first game there in Stockton, so it's a great thing, man. It was a great game, and everything was deserving. The fans were rowdy there, and everything was perfect, for the setting. So
it was like a mini version of the SAP Center. That's how it felt like. You had your banners going, your championship banners and everything. It was just a smaller version of the SAP Center. It was weird.
And for the fact,
it was loud. It was loud, and I mean it may have been, it wasn't the loudest, but by being a smaller arena and everyone on top of each other, it sounded pretty loud, and it gave us a great home field. But with the ref, I mean, the ref, plain as day, was looking right at me when I crossed the goal line, and it was a touchdown. I mean, why did they? I don't understand it. Wishing upon a star. Arizona didn't stop us all game. And then they wanted a miracle at the end. And I mean, it happened. It's life. We got the championship. I know Arizona's gonna hate me for making that statement, but
watch they when you get cleared, also they sign you.
They sign you.
That would be.
Hey, Arizona? I wouldn't say never, but Arizona's a great place, but. I mean, I guess you could say the same way I dislike San Jose and I went out there. You never know anything, but
Arizona.
But it's a tough decision.
Yeah, the Arizona's nice, man. We got good friends out there, and they're a great diehard bunch of fans, all that stuff, and the fact that they're sort of on the social media side of things, that they're still talking about that, especially after the release of that new replay rules, the challenge rules and all that stuff, that brings us back to the point of why I started Ninth Man Nation, because I want conversation, whether it's controversial or not, whether, say like you did make it and you're in without even being touched, for example, there was nobody near you for 10 yards and you made it, or whether it came out to be the way it was where it was a review issue, the fact that that's being talked about is, I think, really a good thing for the league, because it provides, exposure for the league. So, and that's what we want. So we can get more people to say that, hey, the league, the players, they put their heart and soul in it. Look how much effort you put in for just that one play, and people not knowing the background information that you were actually playing with a sore hip, a bad hip that day, and you went and you put your effort into it to win that game, to get to the next game, because you knew that had to be done. So the fact that conversation is being held by that, just by that one play, exposes the league, and that's what we want. We want league exposure for this thing. We want to draw more fans to come in. I don't know if I told you this, but Tom and I went down to the SaberCat game down there in Anaheim last year, the last one, and we actually sat behind you guys, a couple rows behind you guys. There was another group of like a family that were there, and there was the first game they ever went to AFL, period, whether it be LA or Avengers or anybody, and this year they're now season ticket holders. Tom and I sold them season tickets. They got so hyped up, they blame us for having them to go spend money out to buy season tickets because they fell in love with the game, even though they got their butts kicked by Mr. Big Play Reggie Gray in that game by 30 points. So
that's great. I mean, the fans, I've always said it, if a fan comes to the game, I think they'll be fans of the AFL forever, because just how the stadiums are, the arenas, and just the play. I mean, it's just such an exciting atmosphere. I've heard a lot of stories of that where, once people went to the games, they were sold. It just, when you watch it on TV, you don't get the same feel as if you're at the arena, at the stadiums. But, the arena atmosphere is amazing. And then the way that the players, interact with the fans, is second to none as well. So I do believe that you made them season ticket holders, and probably a few other people became season ticket holders after that game as well.
Yeah. So, again, now going back to, we're going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening and your weekend. And I'm sure we'll be talking to one another on Wednesday when you touch down here in San Jose. I work until around 8 o'clock on that night. But, I'm sure we'll touch down, and if you're here over the
I could be here earlier. I get off a little early, so I could meet you here.
So basically, if you buy you the first lobster roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get more than one. Now that'll work.
Yeah, you get one from Tom, lobster roll with lobster biscuit, and you get the second one on maybe on next Saturday or something
Right.
for me. We'll take care of you out here, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, I definitely appreciate it.
So cool. Okay. So this has been another episode of Ninth Man Nation, the Nation Talk, and we appreciate Reggie Gray joining us. And I'm your host, Eric Thoreau.
Tom Jones.
And we'll see you next time for another edition of the Nation Podcast.